The disturbing pattern all children of narcissists share. If you grew up with a narcissistic parent, there's a disturbing pattern you might not even know you're repeating. And the worst part, you may think it's your personality, when in reality it's a defense mechanism. In this video, we'll explore 6 painfully common behaviors that nearly every child of a narcissist develops, and why breaking these habits could completely change how you see yourself. One of the later points might hit you hardest. It's a habit that looks like strength on the surface, but is actually pure self-abandonment underneath. Ready? Let's get started. You apologize even when you're not wrong. Ever notice how often you say "I'm sorry" without actually doing anything wrong? Children of narcissists are trained to anticipate anger before it erupts. So what happens? You preempt it. You become the emotional shock absorber in every room. You say sorry, not because you messed up, but because you were taught that other people's moods are somehow your responsibility. It's not politeness, it's survival, and it can follow you into adulthood like a shadow you don't even see anymore. When you live like this, you begin to lose the natural sense of where you end and others begin. You start to equate peace with people-pleasing, and that constant need to keep everyone happy slowly erodes your sense of authenticity. Over time, your nervous system stays on alert, always scanning for disapproval, always preparing to soften every edge of your personality just to feel safe. This behavior becomes so deeply ingrained that even in adulthood, you might find yourself apologizing for existing, for having needs, for taking up space. It's important to recognize that this is not humility. Its conditioning, and healing requires slowly teaching yourself that other people's emotions are not your job. You question your own memories. This one is chilling. You start to wonder, did it really happen like that? Even when you have clear memories, you doubt yourself, because narcissistic parents are master gaslighters. They rewrite history on the spot. You say, "You yelled at me," and they reply, "Stop being dramatic. That never happened." Over time, this warps your perception. You don't trust your version of events, even when your gut is screaming. And that kind of self-doubt bleeds into everything. Relationships, decisions, even your sense of identity. It teaches you that your truth can't be trusted, and your instincts become your enemy. So even as an adult, you might second-guess your emotions, your experiences, and your intuition, which can make you easy to manipulate by others who recognize that uncertainty. Healing from this means learning to trust the voice inside you again, and understanding that memory mixed with emotion is still valid. It also means validating your inner child who was constantly told that their reality was wrong. Learning to ground yourself through journaling, therapy, and mindfulness can help you rebuild trust in your inner world, because memory is not about perfect detail, it's about emotional truth. You can't stand being a burden. You'll twist yourself into knots, not to inconvenience anyone. Need help, you won't ask. Feeling overwhelmed, you'll smile through it, because deep down, you believe your needs are too much. Narcissistic parents often treat their children like emotional punching bags, and then act like their child's existence is some sort of favor they've granted. So you learn less is safer, less emotion, less noise, less need. But here's what most people miss. This doesn't make you strong, it makes you invisible. If this sounds like your childhood, put "yep" in the comments. It's powerful just to see you're not alone. This belief that you are a burden can shape your entire adult life, making you overfunction in relationships, take on too much responsibility, and burn out quietly without ever letting anyone know you are hurting. The truth is, being human means having needs, and learning that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's is one of the hardest but most freeing steps in recovery. When you finally give yourself permission to need rest, love, and care, you begin to reconnect with your humanity, and this shift can change how you form every future relationship. You become the ultimate caretaker. People praise you for how nurturing you are. They say you're so good at taking care of others, but they never ask, where did you learn to prioritize everyone else's needs over your own? When your parent made everything about them, you learned to scan for emotions like radar. You became the peacemaker, the fixer, the emotional sponge. And while it might make you the most reliable friend or partner in the room, often comes at the cost of your own peace. You love deeply, but it's a love that was born from fear. You learned that affection and attention had to be earned, and that love was something you had to work for, not something you simply received. This habit can make you attract emotionally unavailable people because it feels familiar, but it also keeps you trapped in cycles of exhaustion. Learning to care for yourself first is not selfish, it's self-respect, and it's how you begin to rebuild balance. Healthy relationships are not built on overgiving, they are built on equality and emotional safety, so part of your healing will involve redefining what love and care mean for you. You struggle to accept compliments or believe them. Someone says, "You did a great job," that you're talented, beautiful, smart. And what's your first reaction? Deflect, downplay, reject. Narcissistic parents rarely give praise, and when they do, it's conditional, performance-based. So as an adult, kindness feels suspicious. Compliments feel like setups. You hear, "You're amazing," but your brain translates it into, "What do they want from me?" It's not just low self-esteem, it's conditioning, and breaking that mindset takes more than a pep talk. It takes reprogramming the part of you that never felt seen just for being you. Learning to receive appreciation without fear is a process of unlearning the belief that love has to be earned and that approval is dangerous. It's about realizing that being valued doesn't mean someone is trying to control you. It might actually mean they genuinely see you for who you are. Over time, as you rebuild your self-worth, you start to internalize that compliments are not traps. They are reflections of how others genuinely experience your presence. You become hyper-independent. Now here's the one that fools even the most self-aware people. You pride yourself on handling everything alone. You don't need anyone. You don't ask for support. You build your life like a fortress. But here's the twist. This independence is just armor, a shield against being let down again, because when the one person who was supposed to protect you was the threat, depending on others, started to feel dangerous, so you learned to go it alone, not out of confidence but out of survival. But hyper-independence is a trap, because healing doesn't happen in isolation. And you deserve more than just surviving. True strength is not about never needing help. It's about knowing when to reach out and allowing others to show up for you. When you finally let yourself be supported, you start to experience safety and connection, something that was stolen from you long ago. Learning to trust again takes time, but every small act of vulnerability rebuilds your capacity to connect and teaches your nervous system that safety is possible again. If these patterns feel familiar, remember, none of this means you are broken. It means you adapted to an environment that taught you to survive at the cost of your authenticity. Healing is not about blaming your parents forever. It's about learning to choose differently now. You can unlearn the fear of being too much or not enough and start creating relationships built on safety, trust, and mutual respect. Every step you take towards self-awareness is a step away from the invisible prison your childhood built around you. You are not defined by the pain that shaped you. You are defined by the courage it takes to heal from it and by the strength it takes to face your own reflection with compassion. True healing is not instant. It's a journey of rediscovering who you were before the world told you who to be. And that journey begins the moment you decide that you deserve peace more than you fear change.